cut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. Salute to y'all. Let me, WCS, be the first in the building. You know, let me pin myself up there. I'm the first in the building. Shout out to you, WCS. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, man. For real. We're going to get some hot grease going. We're going to get the bubbles doing what they're supposed to do. You know, we have to address some issues that seem to be cluttering the YTC airwaves. Shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing. You know what I'm saying? The first in the building. You know what I'm saying? The GOAT is on deck. Salute to you. Respect. What's up with it? I want to talk about some behavior that's cluttering the YTC. I always come on here. I feel it's my just due. It's my duty. You know what I'm saying? To speak on it and hopefully, you know, sway some of these lost souls on here. I'm here to sway them from being cock riders. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not dick riding. It's not dick riding for these dudes no more. Because I was the one that said, hey, why they keep the name in their mouth? You know what I'm saying? If God bless you with one, then you know, hey, you should be satisfied with that one. But I found out that's not enough. These dudes on some other stuff, you know what I'm saying, where they are proven to be cock riders. They are proven to be infatuated with the man himself, Omaha Thanos. This has become very comedic at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is why I'm saying what I'm saying, right? It's the simple fact that we're trying to go places in media. We're trying to get from one place to the next. And with that place, you know, that previous place, that's the past. And it's okay to talk about the past moving forward. You know what I'm saying? To make it exciting, to bring some substance to, you know, the next, especially if you going into a rematch. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're going into a rematch. And I gotta say that it's great that I was a part of witnessing the July 29th event that played out to basically determine the best fighter in the welterweight division and in the sport of boxing. It was a pleasure, man. I think back and I say, damn, you know what I'm saying? I have absolutely met multiple legends, you know what I'm saying, in my middle age. You know what I'm saying? I have, you know, Deontay Wilder, you know what I'm saying, Terrence Crawford. I've met some legends, man. Haven't really conversed with Canelo Alvarez yet. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I've seen the Tyson Furies. I've seen the Alexander Usyks, been able to carry on the conversation with him. I've seen the old school James Tony Roy Jones Jr. You know what I'm saying? Freaking Um, Floyd Mayweather, Zab Judah, Chop Chop Curly, man. It's just been so many legends. I just think of the legends, right? But this one legend, he changed the world like no other. Because when I thought that Deontay Wilder hate couldn't get any worse for any other fighter, this man has superseded that, surpassed it. You know what I'm saying? Not so much that he was trying to, because truth be told, Deontay Wilder speak out for people. He's been on record speaking out for the black people and everything. And people didn't like his vocal nature, being outspoken. They say he was garrulous. He talked too much. He needed to tone it down. It comes off as the angry black man, which I never seen it as that. But Crawford is more laid back. And when he do speak, it's always in response to someone who's saying something negative about him. That's my only issue. And I'll say, if you have a lot of people out here that's supporting you, speak about the ones who supporting you, and pretty much keeping your name out there in the light, instead of the ones that's knowing that if they talk bad about you enough, you're gonna recognize them. That's my only thing with Crawford, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you got some real solid channels out here that support you, and it'd be good, um, if less time was given to the ones who are busy about cock chasing. Let's get to that particular method. Shout out to Javier Martinez. What's good? 729. 2023 is a day an all-time great was born. On deck with it. Yes, sir. Samuel on deck. Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease, is on deck, man. Salute WCS, my big bro. Salute to y'all, man. Salute to Mr. Gumbo. Brother on deck, man. aka Hot Grease. Salute WCS, my big bro. What's good? What's good with you? Hope all is safe your way, man. Love the thumbnail, the hottest topic on the YouTube. Yes, sir. You know how we doing. Let's talk about the status, and how great of a moment in history this is. This goes in to the boxing annals. Real talk. This goes into the boxing annals. And the reason why it goes into the boxing annals, because this fight was talked about so long, and so many hours was put in there, and so much labor was put into this topic. A lot of labor, intensive labor was put into this. And look, it's a lot of dudes that wasn't even on YouTube when this conversation started back in the day. They didn't even have channels. They wasn't even on YouTube like that, right? But we come full circle. We start putting the years away, 2 years, 3 years. And then, dudes start coming on here, and they didn't immediately come in here and start talking about Crawford. They just found out that, okay, there's some matchups that we want to see in here. Will we be able to see them? Will it be any close? Will it even come close to us seeing these freaking fights? So that's where it was. Like, yeah, you had the Errol Spence situation, but they was busy fighting other fighters. So they weren't really focused on Crawford yet, until the clouds begin to clear and the sunshine was radiating down, and people thought, like, man, this fight is actually going to happen now. I think it's actually going to happen. So I think a lot of people prior to Terrence Crawford fighting Sean Porter, when Terrence Crawford was basically fighting the second common opponent of Errol Spence, that's when people start to really say, oh man, let me posture up for this. Okay, I wonder, can Crawford get it done? I just wonder. They was second guessing him. I wonder, can he get it done? Can he get it done? That day right there, y'all, was the beginning. When he went in there and fought Sean Porter, a fighter who is not known to be in any type of, mug shots and criminal activity or losing his mind out there in life. That fight right there, when Crawford went and stopped Sean Porter, made people sit back and really zoom in, really pay more attention to who Crawford was at this stage in his career, right? This is what it was. It's like this is the toughest opponent that they seen Errol Spence in there with. So what they was trying to do was balance who was the best at the welterweight. So the way they was gonna do that, before then they were saying that Crawford hasn't fought anybody that he deserved a fight with Spence. But a lot of people was wanting that fight to happen. They was wanting it. They was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? It was just the topic. But really, when you look at it, they didn't want Crawford to fight Errol Spence. They wanted Crawford to lose the belt so Errol Spence can have a clear path to the finish line for undisputed. Because Crawford, in that moment when he stopped Sean Porter, he became too much of a threat for Errol Spence. Period. Because before then, they was like, oh man, he ain't fought nobody, man. He ain't fought nobody. Kell Brook, oh man, he was washed up from Gennady, man. Errol Spence beat that boy. He beat him up bad. Kell Brook got beat on both sides of his face. He was no good. He was washed. That's what they said when Crawford finished him in 4 rounds, right? Less than 4 rounds, really. Then immediately after that, the name Sean Porter came up, and Sean Porter's been in some tough fights, been in there with the big names. You know what I'm saying? He was a 2-time world champion. And a lot of people was looking at that fight like, I don't know who's gonna win. I don't know if Crawford gonna win. I don't know if Errol Spence gonna win. But it never was to the point where it's at now, where people just straight up hating on Crawford for making all these false accusations and stuff. I love it. I love the homework. I love the labor that these aerosexuals are putting into trying to discredit Crawford's career. I love to see idiots work for free. I'm serious, man. I love to see people that are supposed to be adults, but they work in a child's fantasy land. You know what I'm saying? They work in the mentality of a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because you could tell a kid to do something 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You know what I'm saying? And you may be wasting their time. But if they see that, okay, it's nowhere that I'm getting hurt or harmed, I don't see it as being that bad. It might take them a long time to figure out, oh, they just being told to do this because it's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? It might have been some form of punishment. And this right here is a form of punishment. They're self-inflicting themselves in a situation to disprove what Crawford's been through. So getting back to the task, he goes in there and people talking about it. You know, say, oh man, this is gonna be a tough fight. You know, he barely lost a split decision. And then a lot of people was looking at Crawford as not being better than Errol Spence. And they would say, there's no way that Crawford can go in there and do anything that we didn't see Errol Spence do. I remember hearing all the debates, y'all. All the debates over and over again. I never let him live it down. Never. I never let him live it down. You know what I'm saying? All these debates, y'all. Over and over again, these debates. Resume. Look, this is after I told these people to stop doing debates. Just chill, because you're stressing yourself out. You're going to pay the ultimate price doing these debates, because what you're doing, you have the same group of people on these debates, and they're saying the same shit over and over again, and they're criticizing the same fighter. When you don't want to hear any type of criticism from the fighter that you think is going to win, that only heavies the load for you to be disappointed in the end. And that is exactly the mental health situation that we have right now in the YTC. The reason why I said Crawford was Thanos was because you have to look at the amount of power, the volume of power that he's able to have over this YTC. Y'all, look at this shit. The amount of power this man has globally. I mean, the amount of power. You have people on the YTC from across the pond, locally. You have them everywhere. You have them everywhere. The amount of power that this man was able to begin to prove to people when he fought Sean Porter was unbelievable. I don't think Crawford would have ever thought that what he did to Sean Porter would have him sitting on the crown the way sitting on the throne the way he is now. I don't think he ever imagined that. I don't think he would ever imagine a guy who really didn't F with the media. I don't think Crawford ever really ever thought in his broadest imagination that the magnitude of his influence in fights on the back end of his career would have him with this much power, bro. I don't think he understood the magnitude of it. So when he stepped in there with Sean Porter, right, people couldn't fathom Sean Porter losing to Crawford. And look, Sean Porter has shown he was a dog. He has shown aggressive brawling type style. He has shown to be durable. He has shown that he can take it and dish it out. He had been in there with the big names at the welterweight division, and they looked at Errol Spence as, with a fighter that they was willing to give him any opportunity. Like if you said, okay, Errol Spence has an inch, they would give him 20 feet. When it came to resumes, when it comes to comparing him to Crawford, they give him 20 feet, y'all. They said, nope, it's not that close. Nope. And then when it came to the pound for pound list, they were saying that's because he ain't fought nobody. Yeah, it was easy for him to go get the undisputed 140, but he ain't fought nobody. Yeah, he has the the paperwork. He has the paperwork. That's the only reason he above in front of Errol Spence in the pound for pound list, because of paperwork. You know what I'm saying? That's it. He came in the sport before Errol Spence. It was really some dumb shit being regurgitated out here in this YTC, just like it is now. But the build up was incredible. You know what I'm saying? Because these cats could not see with two eyes open. They could not see that the amount of narratives was brainwashing these individuals from seeing clearly what was about to play out July 29th. They was too blinded, y'all. When you get too many people on a panel of individuals that continue to castigate Terrence Crawford prior to him really fighting, a name that people can respect, they was continue to doubt the man. Doubt. Every time you turn around, doubt. It wasn't no cheating. Hey, it wasn't no cheating. Nobody wasn't talking about no motherfucking cheating, no. They wasn't talking about no cheating. They was talking about this man was trash. They was talking about his freaking resume was trash. He was undeveloped. This what they was talking about with Crawford. They wasn't talking about no cheating. They didn't talk about cheating, yo. It was no reason for them to look at his resume and say, well, if we're going to say his resume is trash, then how could we sit up here and say he was cheating? WCS will break this shit down for you now. It might not be page for page, but I'm going to give you enough cliff notes so you can pass the test. I'm looking at this situation where they continue to look at this man's resume, and even the undefeated fighter, the former champions, they expunged that out their thought process. This how brainwashed they were and continue to be. They brainwashed each other. The sheep sound the same in the herd. These sheep was in the herd at the same time for long periods, and they continue to learn the language. So when they ventured off astray over into other chats, you can tell who they've been listening to, because if you listen as the shepherd, you can understand who was leading these sheep astray. It wasn't the shepherds. You know what I'm saying? It was the little evil wolves that was lurking out there. You know what I'm saying? That they needed a sheep to become one of them. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard the wolf in sheep's clothing? That's what we had on the YTC. We had a wolf in sheep's clothing, man. You know what I'm saying? They was brainwashing these sheep. They was busy up there talking about Terrence Crawford, no way, no how, could beat could beat better than Errol Spence because his resume sucked, and their Errol Spence can beat everybody on Terrence Crawford's resume. So if you take that and you try to say, okay, They're cataloging all this information. That's why their brain is fucked up. That's why psychologically there are some delusional individuals out here in public. He goes in here and stops Sean Porter, y'all. That was the beginning to the end. Yes, that is when Bud Crawford began to materialize and form into Thanos. I'm telling you, that was it. That Sean Porter fight, when he stepped in there with Sean Porter, is the night prior to July 29th. That was the beginning to when Thanos began to collect the stones. That is when everyone started to take notice, and they was doing it cautiously, y'all. They was doing it cautiously. He fought Sean Porter November 2021. You're talking about fighting Errol Spence several years later, July 29th, which in between time, peep this out how powerful Crawford is, right? This is how powerful Omaha Thanos is. When he just didn't collect one stone with Sean Porter, he collected multiple stones with Sean Porter, because no one that was the naysayers on the side of the naysayers thought he was going to win that fight, y'all. He goes in there and stops him. When you hear the word stop, it should make you pause a little bit and say, man, damn, he did do that, and we didn't see that coming. That's the appraising value of it. You know what I'm saying? That appraising value to the stock that you put in his win over Sean Porter is the fact that he stopped that man. Not only did he stop Sean Porter, but when Sean Porter fought Errol Spence and knocked him down in the 11th round, I'm talking about Errol Spence knocking Sean Porter down, right? Flash knockdown with a left hook, right? He gets back up and finished the fight. All right. And we all know that certain times, fighters say, okay, if we want to do fight comparisons, what did so-and-so do in that fight? And what can I do in this fight? People second guess me. They doubt me that I can go ahead and beat Sean Porter. This is what I'm going to do. The methodical, look, how methodical Thanos is. This man went in there and stopped Sean Porter one round prior to the knockdown that he faced against Errol Spence. Look, you have to understand how important that is. He stopped Sean Porter around before the 11th, when Errol Spence earned a knockdown. Even though the fight went the distance, he stopped the man around before any other trouble or any other freaking climax took place in Sean Porter and Errol Spence fight. Methodically, tactically, strategically, Crawford was able to carry out that and be the first man to stop Sean Porter, man. He got 2 stones for that. He gets 2 stones. He had to wait. Ushering in 2022, he had to wait for Errol Spence to complete his belt collection. Errol Spence at this time has been on record saying he was going to take the easy route. So he took the easy route, y'all. He took it. We talk about it all the time. It won't be the last time you hear about the easy route. But WCS put it out there that the easy route ruined Spence. It ruined him. Because if you are basically going out here on this journey, and once you get to the destination, it's going to be a challenge. No matter how that challenge is, when you get to the destination, it might be a challenge that requires you to, exert yourself physically. You may have to go over some obstacles to get to the final destination. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what Spence was going through. He collected the 3 belts, but his final destination would be his worst destination. You know what I'm saying? For the IBF, he proved that he can get it done. WBC proved he can get it done. WBA proved he can get it done. But over the years, things have took a change for the worse. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is that being that he took the easy route, it allowed Crawford to continue to win, continue to grow into the 147-pound division, and pretty much allow his name to be more of a talking point in his fan base and the fan base of others. People start to pay attention. Yeah, they may have been on record as saying, "Oh man, okay, he's up here fighting, Amir Khan and Mean Machine, Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and all that, right?" But he was doing what he was supposed to do in retaining his belt as the WBO welterweight world champion. He was doing what he's supposed to. He was basically keeping his hardware close to him and waiting for Errol Spence to pick up the WBA, the last belt of the 3 belts that he wanted to collect in the easy route. You know what I'm saying? He had 2 belts to finish the easy route. 2 belts, y'all. Now, it's nobody's fault but his, whatever happened after the Sean Porter fight. We're talking about strictly history. We're talking about this history, y'all. From mortal to immortal, Crawford never imagined that his name would be out here being spoken on, whether it's positive or negative, based off how he's been able to go in here and complete these performances. Notice I use complete because that's exactly what he did. He completed them in such a way that, the people are like, God damn, we don't want to see him fight no more. We don't want to see him fight that person no more. He's completing, not finishing. You know what I'm saying? He's completing. That means sitting up here consummating any doubt that somebody would have had for him to go back in here and fight these guys. Nobody wanted to see him fight these guys because he made it look too damn easy. Too easy. He gets into a negotiation process last year. All these people up here thinking that, hey, this is my opportune time to pretty much become a unemployed professional and become a remote member of both fighters. You had aerosexuals out here believing that they was a part of the team and they had sources, which they didn't have no sources. And then you had individuals proclaiming to be attached to Team Crawford and they had no sources. But just little fine details was being leaked out, which nobody even knew what was solid or not. No one really knew. But you had a lot of unemployed life coaches and mentors and CFOs, managers, advisors, you know what I'm saying? Phantom promoters. All these people was engaged in this freaking negotiation process, and the finger was pointing at who? Crawford. This was just another this was just another moment for him to continue to build up that immortal status. Now all the attention was faced to Crawford. Not all attention is good attention, but this attention right here was unfucking believable. This attention that we began to experience with people committing to hate on this man after he has shown that he is absolutely the number one guy in boxing, pound for pound. He had got to a point where these individuals was taking a huge part of their lives, y'all. Listen to me now. They were taking a huge part of their lives away from their families, man. And they was trying their best to come up with the most hateful, deleterious, defamatory remarks possible. And their intentions was absolutely to be malicious. and they felt no remorse or wrongdoing for what they were saying. They didn't care, and that has continued to reciprocate up to this current date. So he goes in there in 2022 and walks away from negotiation that wasn't appeasing to him business wise, primarily because he made it perfectly clear, like he made in these negotiations in 2023. That's the love of this shit. That's the power that this man has, right? He showed that no matter what anyone else is say, I'm gonna have preservation. I'm gonna have respect for myself first. I'm gonna do what's right for me, my team, family. That's who I'm gonna make sure that that's benefiting from me doing great business. You know what I'm saying? Great business. Great business doesn't mean making everyone outside who's looking in happy, because they're not a part of the business. They're what you call bystanders and onlookers, y'all. They're not contributing to the business. All they do is contribute to the conversation about the business. And that conversation that they're having about the business doesn't necessarily mean that they know about what the business is about. You know what I'm saying? Especially in this particular case. So when Crawford got up and went over there to BLK Prime in his hometown and fought a top 10 fighter, a fighter that, once again, just like the fighters on his resume, they felt like he was nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of his rise to legendary status, is because these people didn't even respect the fact that he had the cojones to get up from a negotiation with a premier advisor, a premier promotion in TGB, and go elsewhere to make a paycheck while they figure it out. Listen to what I'm saying, bro. This shit is absolutely historic. At this point in time, all eyes was on who? Terrence Crawford. All eyes was on him. This is the guy who's turning 36 this month. And so many people talk about the shit. So many people are unwilling to accept the fact that they underestimated what this man would be in his career. They underestimated, took it for granted, man. It's hilarious to think about when you see somebody rise up, you know what I'm saying, to be in the pantheon of boxing. You know what I'm saying? He or she rise up to legendary status. Everybody's manifesto is not the same. So when he stepped over there and knocked out E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G, it was some people actually hoping that this was one of those fights that it was a cherry pick gone wrong. They was so mad, y'all, that he walked away and went over there in his hometown of Omaha and packed the place out and fought E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G in the main event and defense of his title, his WBO welterweight world title. It was some people out here talking, hoping that E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G would shock the world, that this was a cherry pick gone wrong, and he knocked him out in the 6th round. With that being said, people was like, they was acting like they didn't know who E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N was. Every time you turn around, they was mispronouncing E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N's last name. They call him I.B. sneezing, anesthesia, avocado. You know what I'm saying? All these people were acting like the kids that I was talking about earlier when I started this live stream. They was just acting like juveniles, man. You know what I'm saying? The misfits of the YTC. And when WCS call them the misfits, they will embrace the misfits because they feel like that's a group of empowerment. They feel like they have a force to be reckoned with if someone considers them to be misfits. But then when you tell them it's certain type of behavior that is expected from a grown ass adult in life at this point, and you're way below that. You know what I'm saying? You're way below that margin. You know what I'm saying? You're way below that when it comes to that. And I think a lot of that, which is convoluting your thought process, is stupidity and ignorance. And when Crawford went over there and shoved that stupidity and ignorance in their face again, when he stopped David E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N in the 6th round, once again, Look at how methodical this shit was. He went over there and he stopped David Avanesian, who had already been stopped by Mean Machine, a fighter who Crawford had already stopped. See, he wasn't trying to take Avanesian around before when he stopped Mean Machine. Mean Machine only was a common thought based off the opponent that they was fighting. Mean Machine stopped David Avanesian in the 6th round, and Crawford did it too. It was no way that fight was going to go past the 6th round. Now, this is where it gets funny. And shout out to Toby Bartlett on deck. What's good with it, Toby? Salute WCS in the chat. We're global, baby. We're global. Keeping the grease hot for the big fish. The strays with the OG and the hottest chat in the game. Appreciate you there, Toby. Appreciate you. AU is in the building. What's good with the AU? WCS Bud so comfortable right now. He playing football, throwing 60-yard spirals, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. None of these those easy route fights couldn't possibly prepare Spence for the slaughter that he got on July 29th from the boogeyman himself. Talk to him, y'all. Andrew Charles on deck, man. What's good with it, Andrew? True Me Today, USA Boxing Coach on deck. What's good, Coach? Samuel on deck. I see Bud Crawford, aka Thanos, is surgeon of the squared circle. Took EJ apart and made Diddy James question his gloves. No joke. The rematch should be worse. And this is where we at when he basically further evolves into Thanos. He becomes damn near immortal in the boxing community. Why? Because in order for you to become some type of immortal figure, you have to have people that don't like you. And that's exactly what we're seeing play out right here. People believe that when you say something immortal, we know there's certain attachments that goes with being immortal, but not everybody can do what we see play out in real life. You know what I'm saying? It like nobody has a template. Nobody has a freaking standard operating procedure. No one has all of that. Some of these things just play out based off the mindset of that person and how they go along to in a combat sport per se, competition. It begins to play out unexpectedly. And that's what we had from freaking Crawford, man. This shit began to play out unexpectedly because he had gotten to a point where there's a lot of people wanting to hate this man and see him lose, right? So that's a good thing and a bad thing because they, people paid to see Floyd Mayweather lose after a while. And that's when he started making all that money. Even they believe Conor McGregor can beat him. But for Crawford to go in there and fight Avanesian and stop him, there was a situation that played out with his gloves. And let me read you what happened. His gloves are a big topic of discussion right now. That's what I'm talking about. Thanos, man. They're putting tags on Crawford, starting with him being a cheater in his gloves, because the man have that much influence and power over the naysayers. You know what I'm saying? He is going in here shutting down. He has did this in a matter of Sean Porter, y'all. David Avanesian, who wasn't even like that fighter that was on the pound for pound list. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't it, right? Sean Porter, David Avanesian, and then Errol Spence. You look up the rise. You look at the rise of Terrence Crawford, man. From Kell Brook, who people was like, okay, but they didn't really give him that stone. You know what I'm saying? But when he stopped Sean Porter, shit, that was like goddamn 2 stones right there, man. That was like 2 stones. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? That was like 2 stones now. And then he went in here and fought a guy that wasn't even as popular as Sean Porter and Errol Spence. It's just the way he went about it in the manner for which he did it. And the moment for which it happened, he got up from negotiation, walked over here in his hometown and knocked out E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G in 6th round, the same round that his common opponent, the Mean Machine, knocked out. You could say it's no comparison, there's no type of relation, correlation, and all that. I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But doing that fight and him knocking him out, all of a sudden, Crawford, the fighter who hasn't fought nobody, suspect competitions, is now being recognized as being this unique, dynamic, special fighter. So much to the fact that people want to question how his power is all coming to light now, because we've never seen him with this power before. And WCS look at it like you wasn't looking for him to have the power. Why? Because you looked at his opposition as being subpar, marginal, and you wasn't giving him the praise that it should be when he was feeding these guys, when he was knocking them down. You know what I'm saying? You didn't think they was nothing. I mean, we would say you played yourself, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it on topic. They was playing themselves, right? So when he got out here to E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G and his glove malfunctioned. Now, granted, to you naysayers out there, I have to put this in. I have to insert this in here. E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G had put out a freaking statement. You know what I'm saying? E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G had put out a statement when this happened. And let me read to you what it says, just for the ones who are basically grabbing the wheelbarrow, you know what I'm saying, barefooted, and trying to push that wheelbarrow up a hill, and then say, oh man, I put in all that work, I did all the heavy lifting, now I'm gonna ride it back down to the bottom. And they get a running start and jump in the wheelbarrow, and that shit go down for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it starts to tumble and shit. And they cracking their head on rocks and shit. You know what I'm saying? Now they up here talking like Spence. I'm just saying, that's how stupid you look in this YTC, making up the accusations that y'all do, because y'all just reaching. You know what I'm saying? You want a wheelbarrow of freaking fake ass topics to be smoothly rolled all the way. You want that ride to be smooth all through the YTC and have stopping points wherever damn channel you want to stop in, and you want to goddamn continue to push that narrative. It's almost like selling insurance, selling freaking alarm systems, selling cable, selling ringtones and ring bells and shit. You know what I'm saying? These cats are going door to door trying to sell a narrative. And you have enough dummies out there that's going to purchase this narrative. They say, hey, man, you know, Crawford's, he's an easy target, man. Talk about him. You know, people will tune in if you're talking negative about Crawford. Do it. Do it. So Crawford goes in here, and E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T said, we take safety and performance seriously. E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T wrote, as a leader in professional boxing equipment, it is ever more important that we ensure the necessary steps are placed to review our product and development process and the integrity of our gloves. This process includes close scrutiny of all materials used and construction methods employed in the production of our professional competition gloves. Our top priority is to ensure that every fighter who uses our products has a safe and secure experience. I loved it. I love that safe and secure experience, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is for the Crawford supporters. That's how we go up here and report the news. We make sure we do it safely and secure. You know what I'm saying? So the experience can be one to remember. They go on to say, during the development cycle of the custom fight gloves used in Crawford versus E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G, a batch of defective leather, 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 repeat, was used in production, resulting in a malfunction during the competition. In such cases, E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T follow proper protocol by providing back by competition pairs to be replaced pending a decision by the sanctioning body overseeing the fight. A stoppage was called to review the equipment malfunction, and the commission deemed the equipment was still suitable for the competition. No foul play was at hand, nor was there any tampering of the product on behalf of Terrence Crawford and his camp. Now, with that said, and big shout out to E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T, because I was able to get that grand picture out there at Beverly Hills where Crawford and Spence was signing a table for the Everlast gloves. A table. I mean, dozens upon dozens of gloves, man, and boxing, and all they had them spread out across these tables, and they were signing them, by hand, autograph them, autograph. That's the shit these imbeciles will not see because they don't go to fights like that for credentials. They don't do it. But I was there. But staying on topic, there is a a campaign of runts that is crawling with dirty diapers throughout the YTC. I don't know who their parents is. I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? If you see them, just treat them like you would a freaking empty soda can or a styrofoam cup that someone drunk all everything out and they decide to be lazy instead of putting it in the can. You just step on it and keep moving. That's all you got to do. So pretty much the Avanesian fight, these rookies who are going around here talking about the Avanesian fight, I'm here to educate you on your hypocrisy. All right? Because you're very contradicting. You pretty much take the opportunity to go after Crawford because you feel like you're benefiting from people coming to your channels and everything because you're talking about Crawford. But the crazy part about it is that when Tyson Fury, when he was fighting Christian Hammer, right? He had a obvious manipulation to his glove where the thumb loop had been detached and he had a hole in his glove. Now, of course, a lot of people don't want to talk about Tyson Fury because he has the complexion for the protection. Even though he may just, be a wild ass gypsy, he has complexion for the protection. Tyson also at that point in time, when the referee noticed that glove, Tyson started to scratch his head like, oh, I'm caught. You know what I'm saying? I'm caught. Also, he tested dirty. So doing the appeal allowed him to go in there and fight Vladimir Klitschko. In that time of winning the belts, he went off to retirement because he knew it was over. He knew he was going to test dirty. He and another family member was doing coke and he was on pads and all that. Okay. That is something that these individuals refuse to bring up. Why? Because they would rather target one of their own than the other. That's just facts. That's just what we see over here, right? So Tyson Fury, he gets stripped. He goes into a brief retirement. You already know what happened. He comes back. He fights Sefer Safari and Francisco Pianetta. And then he fight Deontay Wilder. Okay. After that, it was a rematch supposed to be in play. Tyson went up there and fought Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin and went and fought Braun Strowman at the WWE. Okay. Then he returned and fight Wilder, which turned into a glove scandal. Because Tyson Fury's gloves looked crazy. They was flapping all over the place, and people was talking about horsehair and all that. Now, this is where it becomes interesting, y'all. This is where I say that the brain cells of these donkeys, what I'm talking about, donkeys, jackasses, they're not really using what God gave them because they're just burning cells, just like they would have the pipe of the glass up to their lips, and that's what their habit is throughout the day. They don't want to pinpoint how bad that was. Tyson Fury, and I have the photo to this day on the damage that supposedly, his glove could have done, being that it wasn't on his freaking hand the correct way. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't on his hand the correct way. So, his hand strap was showing. It shows one of his team members pulling the glove down. I said, come on, bro. Why doesn't it have tape on there? Why didn't his right glove have tape on it? You know what I'm saying? Why did his left glove look like it was altered? It's so much to go into that. Not to get into the Deontay Wilder Fury thing, okay? Saga. But that was one of the bigger scandals when that fight played out. That was, bro. And then it came down to a point where a lot of things took place. And then they were saying that Deontay Wilder had a dent in his forehead. Not a forehead, left side of his head. All right. And they would say that was from Tyson Fury's cheating. So what these donkeys did, they start to blame Terrence Crawford for cheating with the Dave Avanesian fight because his gloves malfunctioned out of his control. They was going to have him change it out in the next round, but he ended up knocking them out. Now, leaving Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, let's go over to Gabriel Maestre. They don't want to freaking talk about Maestre because Maestre is not something that bring them views. You know what I'm saying? He's not the one to bring them views. No, they want to keep the attention on Crawford. The reason being is that Crawford brings them attention. Some of these guys cannot explain stuff enough to keep people interested, so they have to make up lies. And you just imagine to yourself, like, if they're willing to make up lies on something on the YTC about another man that's a competitor in a sport that they say they support so greatly, and he's a father, you know what I'm saying? He's a lot to a lot of people, right? If they're willing to lie on this man, they're willing to lie on their own friends and family. These people who you see out here lying on Crawford, they're not the most happiest individuals in life. Let's talk about Gabriel Maestre that just stopped Trayvon Marshall. Okay. All right. When I seen this fight, all I can think about is the time he got caught cheating with Michael Fox back in August of 2021. He was caught cheating against Michael Fox, August 2021, y'all. This was for the WBA interim world welterweight title. Check this out. Prior to the fight starting, the referee noticed that that Maestre gloves, the cushion was always pushed to the back, and they had goddamn taped that cushion, the padding of the glove, they had put that underneath the tape so it couldn't move throughout the fight. It was going to continue to be right there under the tape, tight. And as the fight wore on, it was going to be less and less padding there. You know what I'm saying? See, with the Luis Resto situation, they removed the padding. They removed it. But with Maestre, they massaged it. They call it thumbing. They thumbed it back and massaged it to the point where they was wrapping the wrist, and they had the cushion back, all the way back on the top of the hand. And the referee looked at the gloves and it's like, what in the hell wrong with your gloves? They made him change the gloves. Now let's think about the Crawford situation. The Crawford situation, the glove wasn't on him any old kind of way. It wasn't put on him improperly. The glove was defected. What they found by Maestre was the person who put on the glove. This is what a lot of people don't want to talk about because they don't find it important. But the referee identified it as being improperly gloved, and they made him change into the second pair of gloves. And then Michael Fox goes in there and drops Maestre in round 2, right? And we almost thought we was going to see like a Sugar Shane Mosley and Antonio Margarito beat down. Michael Fox clearly won that fight, and they robbed him. Yes, they robbed him. And then the wild part about why they robbed him, who would never know, but Maestre was to know right now. But moving on, we're talking about gloves, right? The referee made Maestro change those gloves out because they absolutely was caught cheating. Antonio Margarito, shout out to the late Nassim Richardson, he caught the substance, the plaster of Paris, in the wraps of Antonio Margarito. They made them rewrap their hands, and he went up there and got his ass beat. See, neither two of these scenarios that I gave you, Antonio Margarito and Maestre, deals with Crawford. Okay? We are talking about gloves, and that's when the Thanos stone comparison comes into play, because this man has absolutely went in there and basically accomplished some feats that no one didn't think he was gonna be able to accomplish. And then the amount of power that he received from that, you know what I'm saying? The amount of not prestige, but godly like power of him going in here, continuing to prove people wrong when they just thought that he had fought nobody. When he started to step up his competition, then they start coming up with how is he stepping up his competition? Because it's no way that he can step up his competition. We've been hating on him for so long and say he didn't fight nobody. It's no way that he can step up his competition right now. It's no way. It's no way on his nobody on his resume to say that he's supposed to be going about the way he's doing with these guys and stopping the way he is. So nothing was said with Sean Porter about cheating. Nothing. Then when he fought David Avanesian, and that is the fight that he took after the failed negotiations. Those same individuals that was mad with Errol Spence prior to him facing Avanesian was the same ones who began to continue to run a smear campaign about he was now a cheater. Now, granted, I just gave you two scenarios. Only one of the two scenarios, a fighter was suspended. All right, check this out. This is how people believe they know boxing so much without showing up to the fights. And that's just not the case. You all on the outside looking in afar, you know what I'm saying, trying to come up with all these storylines and shit, and you're not even nowhere close to the locker room, and you haven't been there close enough to see what goes on. You have to go there several times over to figure this shit out. But one half of the fighters that I said that got caught cheating was suspended. That was Antonio Margarito. Even the thumbing of E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G, he didn't get suspended. Even when Michael Fox them put in a petition to overturn the fight, being that it was some type of corruption, they denied it. They denied it, yo. It's probably because of who his trainer was and all that. Whatever. You know, boxing is a business, right? And like I said, the business of boxing doesn't always freaking accommodate those who you think. So therefore, Gabriel wasn't suspended. And he clearly got caught cheating, right? But it wasn't the type of cheating Antonio Margarito, because he was at the wraps part. Gabriel was already gloved. Antonio was at the wraps. And they was putting that, they saw that stuff seeping through the freaking the hand wraps on the knuckles. So moving to this Crawford situation, he gets accused of cheating because his Everlast gloves were defected. Now check this out. This is how stupid the donkeys are. These jackasses, right? They was the same one saying that Crawford wasn't a good fighter. He ain't fought nobody. He a bum. He chinny and all that. Did they ever think to ask themselves why they are accusing this man of cheating? And they pretty much said that he hadn't fought nobody. So if Crawford hasn't fought nobody, right? Even though he fought some top tier opposition in the welterweight division, why would he face a fighter like Avanesian all of a sudden feel that he needs to cheat? What made Avanesian so dangerous? And he had already been stopped by a common opponent that Crawford had already faced himself and stopped. Please, riddle me that. Riddle me that, donkeys. Please. This is kids play, goddammit. Come on. How is it possible that you're walking around here typing, and y'all just going out here putting out lies and not even doing your research? If that's what boxing media is about, and you feel that it's going to have some type of growth just for a couple of pennies, I can only imagine what you're willing to do in real life. Y'all willing to sell yourselves, sell your souls just for a temporary fix. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that. How and why would Crawford have to cheat on David Avanesian when he was already knocked out by a common opponent that Crawford had already faced and stopped? Please, somebody explain that to me. It just doesn't add up. It would never add up. And this is what I'm talking about with Crawford's superstardom, his legendary status, which he has evolved into a legendary figure. From mortal to immortal, the things he's able to do to influence the general public is incredible. He goes from Avanesian back into negotiations. Nobody even knew the shit was goddamn going back active into negotiation. No one knew shit about the negotiations until officially it was announced by the fighters. And people was kind of like, they didn't know how to take it. You know what I'm saying? They knew it was nutritional, just like a fresh loaf of bread, but they just didn't know the texture of it. You know what I'm saying? They just I mean, why did they announce it? Like it hit flat. I'm not gonna lie. When the fighters announced it was flat. It just really was nothing that came out of it. People's like, oh, they fighting? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are they fighting for real? Oh, yeah. So being that Crawford already did what he did, nobody was talking about the gloves hindering the fight. They had mentioned the gloves being an issue after the Avanesian fight, but when it got, when the fight was announced for July 29th this year, people started talking about resumes again. They start revisiting the same conversation and derogatory comments, scrutiny, criticism that they was giving Crawford when he was heading into the fight with Sean Porter. It was happening all over again because Sean Porter was a common opponent of Errol Spence. So when it came down to him now being assigned to face Errol Spence, they started criticizing, taking the same criticism they did back there with Sean Porter and moving it up to this fight because this was the grand finale. This fight right here for Thanos was the last two stones, God damn it. Yes, this was the last two stones. Errol Spence was now on deck to prove to the world that he'll go in there and beat Crawford easy. Easy. On God, on my life, you ain't stopping me. On my life, you ain't stopping. That's what forever be etched in that video that went viral. On my life, you ain't stopping me. Crawford was somewhat speaking into existence the Omaha Nostradamus. He said, see, when I beat him, you know what I'm saying? They're going to say he was in the division too long. They're going to say he was too weak. I mean, when I stop him. And then he say, on my life, you ain't stopping me. At that time, the mentality of Errol Spence was so heavily focused on who he had been in the ring with prior to this moment. He had believed the people that he had been in the ring with was much more quality of an opposition than Crawford ever would be, because he was basing that off all the people that was telling him Crawford ain't fought nobody and Crawford's not that good of a fighter. Even in the welterweight division, people was looking at the fighters that he had pretty much destroyed, and they was like, man, they ain't nobody. Spence, man, come on, bro. You can beat their ass, man. You'll stop them motherfuckers. You'll stop all of them, man. E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G, man, get out of here. See, they was pretty much picking out the weakest of the weaks. So if you exclude E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G, Kell Brook, Sean Porter, you know what I'm saying? Put them to the side, because pretty much Errol Spence had fought Kell Brook and Sean Porter already. And they didn't want to give Crawford credit because they say they was a shell of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because once they fought Spence, there was no more good. There was no more good after that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Crawford, what they say? They was trash before they fought him. Even though undefeated, they was trash. They was bums. You know what I'm saying? It was ragu. Tomato cans, tomato cans, tomato cans. So when Errol Spence made that quote on his life, you won't stop me, and how small Terrence Crawford looked to the oversized Errol Spence in that video, people was really believing it. Errol Spence was like, man, on my life, dog, you ain't stopping me. I've been in there with bigger motherfuckers than you. You ain't stopping me, dog. Are you crazy? You are not stopping me, man. I'm too big for you. I'm too strong for you, man. On my life, that ain't happening. That ain't happening, bro. He was convinced. His coach was convinced. The people that was feeding him all those derogatory, all that criticism about Crawford, they was convinced. Spence was convinced. Spence's mentality was when you heard it on the rocks of AO, he felt he can go in there with Danny Garcia less than 100% and beat him. Cause he that dude. He that nigga. That's what he felt. He's that nigga, man. So when this fight was announced, right, you could start to hear and see, like, really the naysayers was pretty much talking about Crawford. That's why his name is the most popular in his YouTube community. It's been like that for a long time now. But I just wanted to keep this everlast up there because you have certain people that's going around continue to filter these lies out there and look stupid as hell. But y'all remember when I posted this, the hottest topic on the YouTube, Terrence Crawford, and I posted this tweet to it. It said they say they don't care, but every post I make, here they come with their comments. Y'all really love me. It just hurt to say it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, he was absolutely correct because every time he posted on anything, even though I say most of the time he posts, it's due to the negativity. You know what I'm saying? So these individuals who's posting negativity, they believe they are the ones that influence him to post those Twitter comments. Even if he don't leave names. Yeah, I know freaking Fannin went in there and freaking jacked off when freaking Crawford goddamn mentioned his name in a tweet. I know he did. You know what I'm saying? I know he did. He probably have that. Look, he probably have that tweet as a screensaver. And he show all his friends in the Dime Loafer Club. Look, man, I told you, man. Crawford knows me. You know what I'm saying? My legal goddamn, he wanted me to be his attorney. But he told me I had to get licensed first, and I'm not planning on getting licensed right now. But look at this tweet. He mentioned me. I'm famous. I'm hood famous. That's why a lot of these cats want to be hood famous. When he acknowledged two of these individuals, Boxing Eagle and Fannin, a lot of these dudes wanted to amp up the criticism and disrespect. They feel that if they can get themselves noticed by Crawford, who is known to basically respond to the naysayers, right? They think it would bring more viewers to their channel. They think it would do more for them, when it come down to their subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Building up their subscriber count. But more so, I believe it's personal too, because I'm finding out if you really going to speak about somebody every day negatively, there's some type of vicarious infatuation that they have to be close to Crawford for real. And that is the bond that they want. They want that closeness. They want that genuine closeness, that affection. You know what I'm saying? They want the intimate, the social media intimacy. They want to be right there, feel his body heat, and know what's going on with him. Because see, it's no way that they can connect to Spence. They was doing this prior to July 29th. And see, the wild part about this is that the only time they actually thought that, hey, I know we've been talking about Crawford all the time, but really behind the scenes, we're going to try to plan this trip to Vegas to see this fight because it's history. And we're gonna give Spence the benefit of the doubt that he can go in there and beat Crawford. And that's where the final freaking stone from the slingshot hit these aerosexuals dead in the middle of their fucking head. Because when he pulled and let go that stone and started goddamn knocking down Spence in that fight, he was doing it in front of millions, bro. He was doing it in front of millions. Not only was Crawford doing this in front of millions, it's the easiness that he did it in front of millions. How easy it was. It's almost like he was not mortal anymore. He was immortal, going in there with the guy who had been hyped up. They had hyped this guy up so much, man. They had hyped him up so much. They had hyped him up so much he couldn't be hyped no more. They had hyped him up. And see, if these aerosexuals would have just taking the time out to build up Errol Spence's name in the algorithm of the YTC and just basically put out more live streams that involve him, that speak highly and more so of do live streams more so orientated strictly about Spence. I think their mindset would be a little bit different. Their mindset was more so in overdrive when it came to Terrence Crawford. That's why the culminating moment, the benediction, was rough. That shit was brutal, y'all. Vicious. When that July 29th goddamn consummation came up, oh my God. Oh my God, these people snuck over there. They planned some secret trip over there like they was gonna have the last laugh. Why the Crawford supporters, we already knew what was imminent. That ass whooping. It was fucking imminent. Crawford made that shit look so easy while carrying on sidebar conversations with an undisputed champion from the next division up. Legendary, bro. Thanos had evolved. This man was so much on top of his game. Like he told you all, they've been studying Spence. It was nothing that Spence can do that Crawford didn't see. All the stones was there. He couldn't be stopped. He won't be stopped in a rematch. No matter what y'all want to happen, no matter what criticism and negativity and insults and aspersions that you filter out here in the YTC, it won't help you. I'm just being honest. It ain't gonna help, goddammit. It's gonna be fun for me and my people, but it ain't gonna help none of y'all. You can say what the hell you want to say, but this man had went in there and made that fight look so easy when it was supposed to be so difficult. And a lot of you all haven't been able to recover because you put all your stock and value into that July 29th fight. And the results was just searing, bro. I don't know how many pinholes you had in your heart and still do. I know some of you all are leaking blood to this day. It's hard for you to breathe when this topic come up. That's why you don't want to talk about Errol Spence. You want to talk about Crawford. You want to continue to talk about Crawford because he's the winner out of all of this. If you keep the energy on Crawford, you feel vindicated. You feel like, oh man, I'm actually winning this. Let me continue to make up lies and talk shit about Crawford because he's the winner. I don't feel as bad because now I'm trying my best to basically change the way people think on the YTC. It's not working. No one believes it. No one believes it, bro. It's just like a kid continue to go in the bathroom and play in the toilet. We'll continue to tell you, hey, that's wrong. But if you keep doing it and putting your hand in your mouth, I mean, you're going to have an acquired taste for shit. You know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do? I told you, hey, man, you too old to be going in there playing in the toilet. Stay your ass out the bathroom, man. And then I go in there, you playing in that motherfucker, and I see you all wet, goddamn dripping wet with your fingers in your mouth and shit, brown stuff all over. Hey, it's not up for me to continue to tell you no more. I just got to close the door and let you play. And that's exactly what's going on in the YTC. I don't look at these niggas like, oh man, I want to go at them. I need to do a reaction. I got to do this every time. No, that shit y'all doing don't bother me, bro. It's just the amount of labor that you all are putting into something that you can't change, that you ain't changing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna change it, bro. This man right here is gonna go into his next fight wearing E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G gloves, whether you fucking like it or not. You can put out 1,000 screens for you aerosexuals. It's definitely not gonna change anything, yo. You're not setting any type of bar. Nobody's playing limbo on your dumb ass. I'm trying to explain to you all in proper freaking English, man. All this freaking criticism that y'all putting out here isn't going to change the rematch. It isn't going to change July 29th. He's still going to wear Everlast gloves into his next fight. He's not the only fighter that's sponsored by Everlast gloves. He is not. So unless y'all are willing to blame every fighter just as equally and do the same amount of smear campaign, derogatory comments on these lives, then all you're doing is faking. You know what I'm saying? You're basically, looking like you just don't have mental health, stable mental health, because you can see shit that's stupid. I mean, cognitively, you can look at it and say, oh, that's dumb, that's wrong, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? But I keep on doing it, though. I love it. I keep on doing it. If you continue to do it, I'm like saying to myself, God damn, they must still think Obamacare is out there or something. I'm really looking at the well-being. Like, something is just not right. How can one man have all that power, y'all? How? How can it be celestial like that? How can you let this man have that much power, but yet you're basically trying to get the people to believe the criticism that you're spewing out is pretty much wisdom. There's some type of truth to it. And that's not the case. There's no truth in what you're talking about. It's pretty much you feel that if you put it out there enough, you can get a following that want to hear you talk about the negative shit. It's not going to do anything for y'all. I'm being honest. It's not going to change that man training just as hard for this rematch, right? And people like myself is really hoping that Spence train his best. He go in here 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if the fight is at 47 or 54. Like I said before, they already fought at 54 and 60. Nobody's gonna convince me that these two fighters wasn't in they high 50s or they early, you know what I'm saying, they early 60s. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at 161, 62, something like that. It's possible. Fighters have been known to easily rehydrate up 10 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So people want them to, make it official that, yeah, 154 pounds. Man, they fought at 154 pounds above that already. That's not going to change anything. What's going to change it is that if his trainer can come up with a game plan to make this fight more competitive, to be able to take Crawford into his cachet or weaponry that we haven't seen him use in a long time. Like I mentioned before, we want him to go into the vault. I need to see what's in the vault. In order for Crawford to go in the vault, his opposition has to be fighting at such a high level that he has exhausted the plan A, B, and C. Once he gets to C, that's when he has to go into the vault and say, you know what, strategy out the window. Now it's time for me to bring out these weapons. The offensive strategy is gone. It didn't work. None of it. Option A, option B, option C is out the window. Now I'm going into the vault, and this is by any means necessary. Because they've been saying a lot that Crawford was throwing elbows, right? Okay. These are the same people that will look at what Mike Tyson did and compare Terrence Crawford elbows and say, they start sounding like Brian Custer. I don't see a difference. I'm looking at both of them. I don't see a difference. You know what I'm saying? They say, oh, Mike Tyson bit off of Evander Holyfield's ear, but you know what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford, his elbow, man, that was worse because that was to the temple. All he did was bite off some cartilage. You know what I'm saying? That was cartilage. But Terrence Crawford was doing that MMA shit, landing elbows and shit. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to say that was worse. They're trying to say it was worse than Andrew Galata hitting Riddick Bowe in the cup over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? They would say a lot of things. They're trying to bring up every little frame that they can mention, but one frame that they're not bringing up. When Crawford was landing those counter shots so beautifully, they was accurate. The timing was superb. and the results from his timing and what happened after that, and Errol Spence being on the canvas. They just don't want to put that up there. Maybe I should. Maybe I should remind you of what exactly that looked like. This is what it looked like, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is what it looked like. I know for some of y'all, a lot of y'all, it's just tough for you to basically put yourself in that mindset, seeing him on his ass. You know what I'm saying? From a fighter that is walking out of his life into the neutral corner. Look at that. Crawford's shoe was caught walking out of Spence's life to the neutral corner. Spence is not even looking at Crawford at this point in time. Spence is saying, God damn, on my life, I said this nigga wasn't gonna stop me. On my life, nigga, I'm dying right now. That's what Thanos do to you. That's what Thanos do to you, Spence. You took this man for granted, but yet they getting mad at my words. How can you get mad at my words, man? I'm trying to be as clear and concise as possible, man. I'm not trying to have any type of distortion, man. You know what I'm saying? He put that man on his ass. Thanos was born. Goddamn, boom, boom, boom. This man started to show incredible superpowers. He was making this fight that supposedly this guy who has said no broken bones, I'm a savage. They was praising him for coming back from that accident. They was saying, oh man, he survived an accident. What the fuck Crawford gonna do? What the fuck he gonna do? Man, get the F out of here, man. This dude's tough. This man survived an accident and still boxing, and you think Crawford's gonna stop him? I can't make this stuff up, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I can sit up here and continue to explain to people until I get dry mouth. But Crawford went in here and made that man look like one of his weakest opponents, not just in the welterweight. No. He made him look weaker than the Gamboa fight. He made Spence look weaker than the Gamboa fight. Y'all love bringing up Gamboa, right? He made him look weaker than the Gamboa fight. He made him look weaker than the Gamboa fight. You know why? Because you said Gamboa hurt him. You go on BoxRec, you don't see anything about Crawford being hurt on there. But I will tell you this. Gamboa was down in the 5th. He was down in the 8th. And twice in the 9th. Hold on for a second, y'all. Look, y'all. He made Errol Spence he made him look weaker than a Gamboa fight, y'all. That was a 12-round fight in Omaha at the Century Link Center. You know what I'm saying? He made him look weaker than the Gamboa fight, man. 79-70 across the board. 79-70 across the board when the fight was stopped. For the Gamboa fight, 77-73. 78-72. 78-72. Y'all love bringing up Gamboa. Why not allow me to oblige y'all one more again? He did him worse than the Gamboa fight. And that fight happened June 2014. Damn near 10 years to this date. A fight that you all love talking about and reflecting on, to once again criticizing, and the same damn fight and name came up when he was stepping in here with freaking Errol Spence, man. And look, and then even after he beats Errol Spence, they still talking about Gamboa, dog. Gamboa must be loving y'all attention. I don't know what these niggas are infatuated with. Why they so enamored with Gamboa? It must be because he's Cuban. You know, it might be the texture of his hair or something. I don't know. But Crawford did Spence dirtier than Gamboa. Dirtier than Gamboa. Gamboa was just a little bit more competitive. Because y'all mention it all the time. You say, oh, Gamboa, he heard him. Sound like a freaking frog, didn't he? He heard him. Goddamn Kermit. He did him dirtier than Gamboa, the fight that y'all mentioned damn near 10 years ago, y'all. He did this man dirtier than Gamboa. And this man was on the pound for pound list right beside him, shoulder to shoulder. They didn't want to let that shit go. They knew this fight was on the horizon. The forecast was clear. Fight was finally officially made. Everybody was waiting. No injuries. God damn it. Finally, fight week. I'm not going to go in detail about what I witnessed on fight week when goddamn Diddy James was up there slapping the fuck out of him with that damn left mitt. I mean, I said I wasn't going to do it. Let me calm down. I'm giving too much details. Things just was different. You know what I'm saying? And not so much for Crawford because he did pretty much what we thought. Gave us a full-blown open workout. Spence gave us a workout too. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mount Charleston. I'm pretty sure they got some good footage up there on fight week. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to what Thanos was able to do at the T-Mobile Arena will forever be in history, the boxing annals. And Errol Spence will be the talking point. It doesn't matter what these cats are talking on the YTC. They can talk this shit all day, all night. They don't have an argument. It don't matter. Look, I'm going to advise some of you all. Some of you all love to go over there and prove your point. But look, don't go over there and try to prove your point if you're talking about, oh, I'm an Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fan. No, nigga, you're not. You're not. There's no way that can be. If you're going over there arguing for one fighter, then you're not both of them. You're not a fan of both of them. You're just saying that so you can get them be in the good graces of the host, so they won't freaking kick you off. They know if I show up and I'm not really a regular over there, they know to kick me off. It just show how soft y'all are. They know they're gonna kick me off. They feel some type of vindication, you know what I'm saying, to kick me off the panel because they want to come up here with all this shit about gloves and stuff like that. You're just showing how soft you really are when it comes to this boxing game. You're super soft. You know what I'm saying? You put a little heat to a soft serve ice cream, the shit melts. Y'all want to continue to talk about gloves, juice, snack, and all that. You sold yourself out. You're desperately seeking something. You sold yourself out for Thanos, man. You sold yourself out. No information that you're going to put. And then for the person to continue to put out there that it's an ongoing investigation because David Avanesian, they wanted to do an open investigation of the gloves that Crawford had. Listen, man. If someone has an investigation open on Crawford and E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G said that the leather that was used was defective, they act like there's no such thing as a court system. If it has to go to court, go to court. And if they want to take the shit to court after E.V.E.R.L.A.S.T.I.N.G has put out a freaking letter saying that it was defective material, well, you're gonna have to, in your opening argument, you're gonna have to prove that to the judge. And then when they render the verdict and you have to pay all the damn legal fees, hey, was it worth it? People, don't let these people brainwash you out here. They're not where they're supposed to be in life, man. That's why they want to vicariously attach themselves to Crawford. Real talk. That's all they're trying to do. They know his name is popping. They know he's level changed. He has all the stones, man. The motherfuckers are glowing. And they want to somehow attach themselves to him, hoping. Look, they're hoping, praying, wishing that he just acknowledged them. It was a desperate seeking thought, a media thought that was out here talking about Crawford hates my channel. Look, first of all, your channel is one of many, and no matter what type of thumbnails or what type of info you put out there, it's not gonna matter. He heard it all. It's been plenty of people long before you decided to sell out because you weren't getting views, and you said, I need to goddamn talk about Crawford every day. Yeah, that's showing the lack of depth that you have, bro. Like, come on, man. You didn't have to just start talking reckless about Crawford to build your channel. You could have just came up with the content. You know what I'm saying? Look, if I want to talk about boxing and MMA, I can at any given day. People know that. But some of you all, you didn't have substance, you didn't have variety, you didn't have versatility to begin with, and you got mad because you weren't getting views. I get it. Because people used to talk about my channel. I didn't care because this is not my life, bro. Quality over quantity is where I'm at. The hottest chat in the MFing game. A side, A side, A side, A side official. No negotiation. You know what I'm saying? Period. Period. You got to go all in and make this shit happen, or you just got to not do it at all. You know what I'm saying? If you saying you're gonna grow based off the back of Crawford and they have a rematch coming up in December, let's just say the rematch happened whenever it's happening. There's been so many damn lies out there. My fault, y'all. I don't know what happened, but anyway, let me get to this chat right quick. Spence fans just mad because their father Bud not coming back with the milk so sad. Joseph, what's good? The face of Spence on the mat is that of regret. W says he's like, why didn't I accept the fight? Why did I accept the fight? I think he was more than willing to accept the fight for the money first, for the money. Now, he did believe he can go in there and beat Crawford. I seriously think that the way he was talking and his mindset and ego, and Spence is tough, man. I ain't gonna lie, Spence is tough, bro. He ain't no bitch in Spence, man. Seriously, the way he kept getting up from those knockdowns, he ain't no bitch, man. He is not a bitch, man. Spence is tough. It takes a goddamn a warrior to continue to get up from that embarrassment, because Crawford was absolutely embarrassing this dude. Not just from the knockdowns, but the way he was freaking landing those punches on him easily. Easily. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a tough dude, man. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I seen him fight other fighters, but none of them to the extent of Crawford. None of them to the extent of Crawford. But for the mere understanding that these individuals, along with Spence, believe that Crawford wasn't who they end up finding out he is on July 29th, or who he was on July 29th. They thought he was way less than what Errol Spence was. Everybody on Errol Spence's resume, that the once he picked up the championships that he was fighting, they felt like Crawford wouldn't fare too well with those guys. So if he couldn't fare well with the guys he was fighting, like Mikey Garcia on up, right? Then they for surely thought that he was going to go in there against Spence and he was going to get beat up. You know what I'm saying? They thought Spence was going to have the outcome that Terrence Crawford had. But should tell Spence that he's on the wrong side of the division, demanding that the Slaughter Redux be at 154 and should make him wait 5 years. I mean, that's money, though. You're talking about him being 40. It wouldn't make no sense for him to just squander a freaking rematch like that. I mean, you're talking about possibly 15, 20 million. I mean, why be vindictive like that? And it deals with money. It deals with a lot of money. I mean, I'm thinking the vindictiveness and the jabs that was being thrown, that shit's out the window now. Like, it's proven who's a better fighter. Now, if Spence want to come back in here and talk his shit, okay, cool. But for those who was watching the fight, he's got to go in there and prove that shit. Shout out to Smoke Session Sports and Entertainment. What's good with it, Pop? Salute to you, brother. On deck. Javier said the Spencettes are too broke from losing money, blindly betting on their God. Man, talk to him, bro. Bud gave Spence a pumpkin head on July 29th. He did, man. He did, man. For real. He did. Bud had kryptonite in them gloves. Superman Spence was weakened. Man, I'm talking about Thanos, man. The evolution is real. The evolution is real, y'all. For real. Jamal Neezy's on deck. What's good with it, Neezy? He said, on my life. For real. On my life, dog. That's what he said. On his life, man. Cobain on deck. I see you. He was too weak and he was at 147 too long. Yeah, that's what they say. Swat Jones on deck. What's good with it, brother? Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz, the OG in the building. These aerosexuals tried to tarnish this win so bad, it took away from Canelo versus Jamel to the point ticket prices have been discounted. The hate is real. Well, this is what I have to say about on that, Carlos, and solid point to them just focusing on freaking Crawford. Because look, you would think if they was heavy PBC supporters, they would be doing what? Focusing on this fight with Jamel Charlo and Canelo. But they don't care because they're unwilling to take the risk to start talking about that fight for whatever the reason may be. Now, I'm going to be honest. Errol Spence really don't fuck with them either. He don't say too much, but Charlos, they do. They've been on record as saying, people broke and they don't have respect for their fans. The Charlo twins, right? Canelo is Canelo. He don't say too much, but he's built up such a persona that he don't have to explain shit to nobody. Canelo, he gonna get the pay regardless if the numbers are low. He's gonna get paid regardless, even if they lose money, man. They don't care. I try to tell people it don't matter if a Jermell Charlo is gracing the square with Canelo. People listen. They pay attention. They've been seeing him ducking the smoke with Crawford and having that mentality like, oh, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? I know Canelo said his shit tomorrow. He's too small. I won't get no credit. But he's on a whole nother level than Jermell Charlo, period. Period, bro. Knockdown 305. What's good with a salute? And on deck. Salute. What's good? King 47. I see you. Evers Way on deck. It's pretty much, it's gonna come down to we got a couple more months and weeks. We're talking about 10 weeks. Yeah, about 9-10 weeks, something like that. And we're gonna see, if the announcement gonna come out for the fight date, because they need to let people know. And me, I'm looking at it like I hope it's back in the same place as the T-Mobile Arena, so both fighters can get paid in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Even though I like the fight to be down here in the A, it'd be good if the fight was down here in the A. I ain't gonna lie to you. It'd be good if it was down here in the A, baby. Man, real talk. It'd be good if it was down here in the A. I'd be right at home. I'd be like, yeah. Will I go? Hey, I know that's not gonna happen, but I really wanted to be back in Vegas because what's better than one crime scene? You know what I'm saying? A second crime scene. And what's better than one freaking reality check right there in your face if you're the aerosexuals? Two reality checks. You know what I'm saying? So if you lost money the first time and you feel like you got a chance the second, go right back in there and drop those bets. go right back in and drop those bets, man, because a lot of you didn't learn from July 29th. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you didn't learn. I know the Vegas atmosphere, y'all was like, yeah. I know Blue was up there acting like he was going for Terrence, but he was going for Spence. Because, hey, he was going for Spence. Don't get it twisted. He was going for Spence. If Spence would have won that fight, he would have been like, hey, I told y'all that I was first one to told y'all. I told y'all. No, I loved it. All the individuals that I wanted to be there to see that fight in person was there, y'all. I loved it. The main players, besides Dickhead for None, the main players was there. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that you didn't see go live, they did it smart, man. They hid up in the stands. For real. Man, y'all continue to understand. Support the channel. You know what I'm saying? It's coming up once again. Two-time undisputed defend his titles, the welterweight division. I'm looking forward to Jim Gray, to go up there and interview Crawford again. Crawford, the last time we was here, you really didn't know prior to going in there what would be the outcome, but you proved everybody wrong. You went in there and you had a dominating performance, and you end up stopping Errol Spence. What do you look for in this fight, being that you already went in there and pretty much took care of business? Well, I look to do the same thing I did the first time, but in better fashion. All right, that's all I need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrence Crawford, and I'll see you post-fight. Good luck. Hey, that's all you got to say, man. That's all we need to know, period. We don't need to hear nothing else. We don't need to hear nothing else, y'all. Shout out to the hottest chat in the game, man. A-Side official. You already know. I left out MFing. Shout out to the hottest MFing chat in the game. A-Side official, baby. Until next time, man, y'all hold it down. I'm out.
jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, subscribe.